Hello, hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Renzo here. Okay, today I'm gonna paint a portrait, but we're gonna study the planes of the face. For that we're gonna use this image. Okay, that brings me memory when I was a student. We used to draw a lot from sculptures like this with a lot of planes. Okay, that's pretty important to understand how the planes obviously have a different value. I'm going to start just drawing first the planes, and then I'm going to paint them with a skin color, and then I'm going to try to get the portrait from the image. Okay, I'm going to just use this sponge first. I just want to draw the overall shape to have an idea about the size of the head on my canvas. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good position. Okay, since it's almost a front view but just tilted, I could just split this in two. That would be the center line. I gotta be sure how tilted this is this. Okay, now the eyes are just halfway from top to bottom. Okay, now if I got this line for the eyes, I'm gonna just trace one more line for the eyebrows. I got the eyebrows, I got the bottom of the chin. I split this in two, and I should find the nose or sit the nose here. Okay, when I get this, it's pretty simple. The nose is gonna be here. I split this in two. The mouth is gonna be here. Okay, the width of the nose is the same width of one eye, which it means that I can just do this. I could have the separation between the eyes, which is going to be one eye to the left, one eye to the right. And now I continue with the overall shape. Obviously, I'm trying to kind of have a match between these two images. Yeah, I try to find something that pretty close. But you can see that the upper photograph, the one with the planes, is from a male face. But it doesn't matter, it's not that important. The important thing is to understand how, for example, this plane here, okay, is different in value to this plane and different in value to this plane. When we see the forehead and it's not separated by planes, it's going to be more difficult to understand the volume. When we separate by planes, it's easier to understand how the light move. You know that the plane is basically a flat surface, and it change. Okay, a plane change as is if this plane is facing the light, it's gonna be lighter than this one. Okay, and this one is not facing the light, it's gonna be darker. Now, this implies that at the same time, maybe this is going to be a bit more saturated on color. Maybe this is going to be a little bit cooler. Okay, I mean, it's not the same case for every portrait. Now, I remember when I was a student, the first time I tried to draw a face like this, I started thinking that would be better to draw one piece, like let's say this little portion here, and try to build up from there like pieces, like a puzzle. One piece, another one. And I ended up with a mess because it's pretty difficult to keep all the pieces together. And remember that everything is about the relationship between the pieces. The good thing about when we draw a face from a front view is that if you have a plane here, you're gonna have a plane here. That's gonna be the same. And the same here. And here too. If you have one line like this here, you're gonna have the same on the opposite side. It's just like the center line splits one side and the other side in two equal or pretty similar, planes. Hello, Max So from Germany. Thank you. Hello, Mark. Hello Marius, hello Lat, hello Petra. Okay. Now I keep an eye on the proportions, okay? If it's easier for you, just you can trace some lines just out of the face. In that way, you keep track on the position of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And from the center line, you can just do the same, like that. I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster with this because I'm planning to paint this with skin color and then mold it to get the portrait on the photograph. Okay, like every portrait, I'm gonna try to get the likeness, but I know that today is gonna be so difficult because I'm just doing adding more things to the regular, portrait. This is something that I recommend for everybody. Okay, just pick a photograph. There is even some apps where you can just find these images with planes and draw as much as possible. Now, just it's gonna be what's gonna happen is gonna be like you're gonna understand better what happens when the plane is facing the line in a different angle. Okay, that's the idea, and how that's gonna affect the volume. For example, look at this area here. If you see the photograph, the other one, maybe you think that this and this are the same because that's what I see on the photograph. This looks like just one value, but by seeing this, I know that this is a different plane. The face is not something flat. It means when I start adding color, I need to make a change here. And when I start blending, I need to keep a difference between this and this. The difference could be that this value is darker than this one, or the difference could be that this color, it could be grayish than this one. Okay? Now how it looks. Just thinking about always, kind of replicate the same that I see on the left, on the right. That's why I don't stay on one area, just moving from left to right, right to left. This is going to be a bit more difficult. You see, I drew one eye and then the other one. One plane and then the other plane, trying to do the same. The upper eyelid, the upper eyelid. Okay. The neck. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Okay, now let's say that's the closer I can get. Hello, Michael. I've been using pen pastel for this and this palette knife, plastic palette knife with a sponge. Okay, now I'm gonna mix some colors. I got here titanium white, cadmium yellow light, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, cobalt blue, and ivory black. So I try to keep it pretty simple, and if I just I could paint black and white, this black and white, what I could do, I could prepare a value scale from white to black, just like a regular value scale. Yeah. Now I'm gonna do the same, but I'm gonna do it in color, obviously, because I wanna just get to the portrait. Okay, one way to keep it simple is gonna just choosing one or two colors to create skin. In this case, I want to work just with two colors and white, burnt sienna and white. That's going to be for my lighter values. Okay, just that. I'm going to use another brush. You can use linseed oil or any medium, it's up to you. The same mixture. Now here's one thing. I'm using burnt sienna from Winton, which is let's say that it's not that saturated. Maybe if you have a burnt sienna that is too saturated, you should add maybe a touch of blue to this one and a touch of blue to this one. Okay, this is gonna be my second color. I'm gonna add a touch of blue to this one. Or you can add a touch of black. Okay, I need more paint. I'm gonna add a touch of black. Oops, that was too much black. Be careful with black. If you're a beginner, I would say don't use black, just use blue, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna or raw umber. That's gonna be enough. If you're painting more time, then I think it's a must to use black. Hello, Nikki. Now, the thing is, there are so many planes on the picture. If I try to count, then let's see the forehead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. I'm gonna try to simplify some of them. Like maybe all the ones on the shadow side, there's gonna be maybe just 1 or 2, no 3 or 4 values. And on the light, maybe I'm gonna have more, maybe just 5. Okay, this darker than the previous one. I'm using another brush. That's the thing that I want to be sure that one is darker than the other one. That's that you have to care about. Just that, okay? Don't care about anything more. Maybe the skin color is gonna be a bit more orangey, a bit pinkier. Maybe kind of just more saturated or kind of dull maybe, but the thing is that you gotta care that each mixture here is darker than the previous one. Just pay attention to that. If you don't get here the value scale, you're not gonna be able to see the value scale here. Okay? There's not gonna be a way. It's just you don't have those values on the palette, you're not gonna have them on the paint. It's just that. That's why the palette is an important tool. I always recommend don't use a plate. I mean, don't use a palette like the way I do. I just do it for the live stream. Use a bigger palette. You can just display all the mixtures easily and paint a lot of paint, mix more paint. Hello, Abdallah. Yeah, yes, this is oil paint. Hello, Fiona. Okay, Nikki, no problem. Okay, more. I'm adding a little bit of linseed oil because my burnt sienna is kind of just sticky. Remember, you can use blue, black, it's up to you. I'm gonna repeat again, if you're a beginner, don't use black, just blue and burnt sienna or raw umber, that's gonna be enough. If you have some experience, then you can use black. Okay. I'm just mixing the values here. I don't even care how many values I got here. I know I need a lot. And I know one has to be darker than the previous one. That's what I care now. Okay, I got 6, maybe one more. Let me look for the brush. Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Okay, the last one, that's gonna be burnt sienna and touch of black. Okay, maybe it's too dark. More Bernardina. Okay. Now about the background, I think I'm gonna keep the same background. I'm gonna start just painting first the face, and worried about the rest later. Now I'm gonna add linseed oil because I want a thin layer. Remember that I'm gonna blend. I'm gonna add hair on top. Okay, just 1 second. Okay. Just closed one of my photograph here. Okay, I got it here on the screen. Yeah, let's think. All the planes that are facing the light are the lighter ones. Now I will tell you pick up a photograph like this, anyone. You're gonna find a lot of options. Some of them has more planes, some of them has less planes. I would say pick up the ones that has less planes. This one is pretty simple. Okay, I remember when I was studying, we used there were like maybe 3 of these sculptures. One with just few planes, another one with more planes, and another one with even more planes. And yeah, it's just like a move on just slowly from one to the other and to the other. As you get better at just mixing values. Okay, this you're gonna get better in 2 things. One is gonna be understanding that by simplifying any form, you're gonna be better at getting volume, at just getting the shape, make it 3-dimensional. If you try to paint a sphere, you're gonna notice that's gonna be more difficult to get the volume. But let's say that you imagine the sphere is made of planes. Okay, that makes things a bit easier. Okay, and the same happens with the face. Since it's difficult to imagine this, we have to do it. And it's just gonna be about practice. That means that you need to paint something like this more than once. Okay, more than once for sure. And I would say, don't even care about understanding. Just try to copy. You try 2 things. The value scale first, and that each plane is different. Okay. Now, if this one is lighter, this has to be dark. And the next one is going to be a bit darker. The next one here, there could be the third value, or it could be the fourth. It's not like they gonna follow the same order that we have on the palette. If somebody's just an absolute beginner, start painting a box. A box is pretty simple. You just have few planes. Usually we can just see 3 planes in a box. Yeah? And from 3 planes to move to 4, 5, 6 more. Okay, let's see. This is a lighter one, a mid-tone. I think this mid-tone is here too. It's gonna be kind of tricky to see the difference, how different is one to the other, but don't worry about that. Okay, you're gonna make mistakes, that's for sure. It's not about perfection. It's about practice. It's about practice. Just think that it's just one exercise, it's just one more painting that you just one more exercise, and that's it. Okay. Where is I see this value number 2? It looks like this one and this one, there's a little bit different. I'm gonna use the same because I'm not gonna be able to prepare 20 values here. But I'm pretty sure that this has to be a little bit lighter than this one. But I think you all got the idea, yeah? Yeah, and this one looks kind of the same. I'm gonna add a bit more white here for this plane. Even that's gonna be covered by hair. Right now, the exercise is just trying to see the difference between them. Establish the difference. Keep the brushes next to each other pretty, have an order on you know, use anything that you can just get one brush next to each other. Okay, here for example, this a bit darker. Okay, it's dark enough to see the difference. Maybe I need to make it a bit darker. Okay, maybe now it's too dark. It doesn't matter. Just continue painting. Like I said before, when it's about exercise, it's about repetition. Repetition and repetition. It's not about getting this stage perfect. It's about doing this again and again and again. Okay, it's not about getting a perfect painting in 2 hours. It's maybe paint 3 paintings in 2 hours. That's gonna be better. I heard somebody saying something like that. That, for example, instead of drawing one really good perfect drawing in 6 hours, it's better to draw 20 drawings in 6 hours. Like it's more practice is better. Okay. This values may be the same as this one. Okay, maybe the same as this one here. Okay, if you have the same doubts I have here myself, you're gonna be asking yourself like, this is the value. Man, I mean, it's pretty difficult to be sure. It's pretty difficult to be that accurate. But just gonna continue painting. Remember, that's about practice. It's not about perfection. The good thing is, if you miss some values, you can just paint again. Okay. You can just mix again, or mix more values on the palette. See, if you have obviously more time on your studio, you can just prepare more values, like 10, or even count all the values and prepare one mixture for each value. For each plane, sorry. And you move your exercise to make it more difficult, just as you just look for images or for sculptures that has more planes. Okay, I'm gonna move to the darker one. This is too dark. This is too close to this one. Okay, I'm gonna just use the previous one. Okay, a little bit of linseed oil. I don't want to make it really thick because I'm gonna need to light up maybe this area. You see the other photograph? I don't see like she has like a really darker value there. But since my first step is copying this sculpture with all the planes, and use a mirror. Okay, that's gonna be pretty useful to use a mirror, especially when we paint on these kind of exercises. Okay, this shadow here is not as dark as this one. Yeah, I got a mistake here. Okay. Not too much paint, because I'm gonna paint the lips kind of reddish at the end. I'm gonna try to get them reddish. I remember seeing some fruits on still life where it was pretty easy to see the planes. You can start with that too. And I was thinking to create a series of these videos about planes and painting, like this one, but different positions, and after that painting still lifes. Still lifes are just pretty good to practice the planes of the face. Sorry, but practice planes. I was thinking about the portrait, just to practice planes. Oh, I have one more image. I forget to put it here. This one, look at this one. What I did it is just add the planes that I saw on the upper photograph, put it on top of this one. I don't have too much room to place it here. Okay, but I have it here on my window. Now, okay, I'm gonna try to place the link after I finish. Okay, and there are an option on my Patreon that is free, absolutely free. You don't need to pay anything. That you can just join, and you're gonna see. Basically, you're gonna get the notifications when I go live on YouTube, and you're gonna see the link to the video there. And on the link to the video, there's an option that I can just put the photograph there. That means that the photograph right now, all the three of them that I'm using are there. I'm not lying, it's free. Maybe you're gonna see some option that say pay here, but you just look for free, join free, and there you're gonna just see a bunch of, you're gonna basically see some of the live streams, and for today you're gonna see the pictures. I almost made a mistake on the planes. Feels pretty good. Feels like I'm just studying again on the School of Art. Try to keep an order on my palette. Sorry, on my table here with the brushes. So easy to misconfuse one brush and then the other one. I think I'm almost done with the face. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, I need to make a difference between this one and this one. A little bit darker. Okay, this one is a little bit lighter. I don't care if I'm gonna paint the hair here. I just, just don't care about that. Just it's a practice. You first need to get this done, and then just doesn't matter if you erase it. Okay, it's gotta be a little bit lighter here. Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's more planes. So difficult to see them here. Here. This one should be lighter because it's facing the light. That's why we have a bump. It's because we have a bump in this area. That's the anatomy of the face. What do you think? Is good enough? Let's see some comments. Feel free to ask me any question. Okay. Hello T Tala. Hello Luki. Have you considered painting Christian icons? I've heard that is quite challenging. Christian icons. Okay, I'm gonna check out that. Hello Sylvia. Oh. Oh, Nikki saying that I painted a girl with a couple of times with wings to make her angelical. Okay. Yeah, I painted that maybe 3 years ago, or maybe even more. But it's there for anyone that wants to see more videos. Okay. Mhm. There are more paints here. I cannot paint all of them. I'm not gonna have time for try to paint the face. Okay. I got the planes of the face. Oops. Now, this is the practice. Spend all the time you want, about just painting this and this. Now, I'm gonna try to blend and get the photograph, which is gonna be obviously more difficult. But the idea about this is to understand, remember how lights move on the surface, how light changes, how each plane is different in value, and it could be different in color too. Okay, this is a step that if you get into the School of Art and you see the curricula. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay, before you move to paint real humans, real portraits, you draw this, a lot of this, and then you move to draw like real sculptures, and then you move to real persons. Now, at the same time that you are just drawing or on painting faces like this, sculptures like this. You're doing the same drawing and painting still lifes. It's just like, okay, it's just like getting into a gym and trying to work every muscle. Okay, now since when you don't have that opportunity, you need to practice. Just the good thing nowadays is you can just get a lot of these images, okay, and practice on your own, and practice a lot. And it's not about perfection, remember. It's about repetition. It's about practicing more and more. Okay. I have a doubt that if I should paint first the background. Okay, no, maybe not the background, maybe because I'm gonna need to add hair. I'm gonna need to add hair, yeah. Did I say that right? Hair. Anyway, let's see. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Just trying to. I'm aligning the photograph on my left to kind of be aligned with the eyes, the nose, and the chin. Okay, in that way it's gonna be a bit easier for me to paint it. Otherwise, it's gonna be pretty tough. Okay. Now I'm gonna blend a bit first, and then I'm gonna start trying to mold it and get closer to her face. Any question before I continue about planes of the face? Okay. Bye, Nikki. Yeah. Hello, Jonas. Hello, Nick, Art. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Now, obviously, try to pick up this picture and the other one. Try to match one to the other. The color is going to be apparent, obviously, for one reason. Okay, that all the colors got mixed with the pen pastel that I have used for drawing. But that's okay. This is the first stage. I'm gonna start adding more colors. Now every time that you blend a little bit, you clean the brush. Now something that, for example, pay attention to this area. You see so clear how this portion is lighter on the photograph. It's a little bit darker here. So clear. Okay, now obviously the nose is not that dark, and her nose is a bit narrower. I think a lot narrower. Okay, and her eyes has like almost eyes like a, no, I don't know how to explain it, like tilted like this. I need to make a change there. How tilted is this eye? Okay. You can just have two brushes or more brushes for blending. If you don't want to spend the time just cleaning the brushes, one for lighter colors, another one for darker colors. Okay. I'm gonna use two just to show you. I got this one for darker, this one for lighter. Okay. Now the other one. It's pretty nice how you can just start to get in a rounded form. Yeah. Now, one thing that is different here, this area is lighter on the picture. I'm gonna need to clean it. I'm gonna use paper towel. Okay. I'm gonna use this color here. Okay. It's lighter on the photograph. Another area that's lighter is below the eye, the corner here. Okay. Let's continue blending. Somebody got to this stage. After blending, you can just stop and start a new one. Sorry. I need to move, I think, the chin a little bit up. Maybe. Let's see. Her face is a little bit wider. It's wider here. Okay. And I think the chins are up there. Should make it a little. I should make it a bit bigger. I think that's okay. Okay, let's continue. I remember drawing these faces with planes, and I remember that I got all of them wrong for a long time, for months. Okay, I was thinking that uh, maybe to save more time, if somebody is practicing more values, you can trace it. Okay, I don't recommend to trace it in a way to just to do it for everything. It's just like sometimes we need to save time and some things to pay attention to another things. For example, when you are practicing values, dealing with drawing at the same time, it could be pretty annoying. Okay, it's just that would be like when you practice drawing, and all of a sudden you're gonna need to add a lot of colors. It's just like it's the same. When you draw, you draw. You don't think about colors. You just draw. Okay, just find the way that you can just, let's say, practice drawing, proportions, practice values, practice planes. Okay, and if you're able to practice all at once, yeah, good for you. But I would say that uh, it's gonna be, I think, better if you just separate things. For example, when I paint, what I usually do, I don't use a lot of colors at the very beginning. I add more colors as I continue painting. Okay. Now I'm gonna paint a little bit of the hair and the background because right now my painting looks darker. I need to paint the background and the hair to judge all the values I have here. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's paint the hair. I'm mixing the last colors with a burnt sienna. Let me draw first. Yeah, the color is not that orangey, but I think for now it's gonna be okay. A little bit of linseed oil, a little bit of blue here, because the color of the hair is kind of a mixture between brown and green. It's not that reddish. That's why I'm adding a little bit of blue. I can add a touch of yellow. More blue, more yellow. Okay. What about the background? I'm gonna clean the brush. I'm gonna use this color to paint a little bit of the neck. Oh, that's the bottom. Yeah. I don't need to paint the same background. I think I can just the same color, a little bit grayish. Yeah, I'm gonna mix it here. Grayish with a little bit of blue. Now, when you paint the background a little bit darker, the common thing that happens because of contrast is that the face it should look a little bit lighter than it was before, just by contrast. The darker you paint the background, the lighter is going to look the face. Okay, you can use that as a trick if you just painting a portrait and you got the portrait with the skin that is darker than you wanted to paint it. You can use the background to change it. Okay. Okay. Obviously, it's not gonna make it very light, but close enough, let's say. And that's the first layer. Okay. And now I need to make changes on the values and color and working on in the drawing. I can still see some planes of the face, which is pretty good. Okay, I can just red and white here, which obviously is pink. I want to try to add some reddish colors on the face where I know that it should be reddish. The nose, cheeks, lower eyelid, chin. Okay, I'm gonna add more red for the bottom lip. I'm gonna pick up the second color. I add red, white, and I can just move on to the next value. That would be the next plane of the face. Now you see if you need to make it darker or lighter, because obviously there's no way that the first values we painted are accurate. They're not. One thing is for sure that they are not accurate. Now we're adding more paint. Now we just making adjustments. Okay. Next brush, next value. Okay, let's continue. A little bit of yellow. More yellow. Just pinky. Mixing black and white for the white of the eyes. Okay, let's go over the highlights, the lights on the face. Okay, because those are gonna be on the same spots all the time. Adding a lot of white. I don't see a warmer light on the face, that's why I'm using just white. But in order to add more color to the painting, I'm gonna add some touches of green, yellow, but right now just white. What I see here is light on the forehead, okay, and the upper part of the eyebrow. Now there is light on the cheekbone. There is light on the nasal bone. Sometimes this light goes all the way down to the nose, or just stops there and then it jumps to the tip of the nose. Which one is going to be the lighter one? The lighter one usually is the one on the nose. Okay, this one. And now the cheek, light here too. Okay, between the nose and the mouth in this portion. There's light. Light next to the mouth, light below the corner of the mouth, there's a bump. And light on the chin. Okay, right now these lights are kind of the same. I have just the same color. Yeah, we need to blend a bit, and we're gonna make a difference between those lights. There's one that's gonna be the brightest one, lightest and brightest one, and then we move to the second one, and gone and gone. As you continue painting, you're adding more color, more paint, sorry. The painting gets thicker and thicker. Okay, after blending, maybe you're gonna see and the lights you added are just gone. If that happens, you just need to repaint again. There is no other option. That happens when we blend. It means that we still don't control the blending, and we have blended maybe the lights away. Sometimes we blend the shadows away. When it's about blending, you gotta just stay there and try not to affect the value next to that one. In that way, you just keep the difference between light, midtones, and shadows. Okay, now let's work on the drawing again. When I mean drawing, I mean checking out how tilted are the eyes, the center line of the face, the nose, the mouth. And notice something on the mouth. It's about the corner of the mouth here. Look at the mouth, how it's looking, that it's falling down one side. There. Okay, she has like a subtle smile. Okay. Now I'm gonna need to clean this area to paint the lips, the upper lip. And adding a more reddish color. One thing I know, even that I clean it with paper towel, the paint is wet and there is some paint there. And the same way that I mix on the palette, the same is happening here. As I just keep moving the brush like this, it got mixed with the other color. Okay, and the result is that I don't have the brightest red that I put it down at the beginning. That's okay. When the painting is wet, the same way that you just mix here and put it on top of this and move it, what happens? It got mixed. The same is going to happen here. Okay, now when doesn't happen if you just lay down the brush stroke and don't move it at all. It's just like, imagine just this and don't touch it, just leave it there. Moving again to the eyes, to paint this a little bit lighter. It's not okay. Anyway. Just clean the brush. Here's a bit darker. Here's a bit darker. I think I gotta open the eye a bit more. Get this eye a little bit up. Up. What about the other eye? I think the same, a little bit up. Oh, it looks like purple. That's okay. It's just one more color, which I think is pretty good. Now this looks like gray, black. I'm gonna add some burnt sienna on top. Okay, where's the darker area? Is here, yeah? To save time about darker colors, I prefer to use a palette knife and put down pure black. That way I got the darker value already there. Okay. Otherwise, I should be like adding more paint, again, darker again, and again. And I see that that's just the darker spot. Dark, really dark. That helps me to compare how dark are the other values next to this one. Okay. Now I'm going to use some raw umber. I prefer to use raw umber instead of mixing blue and ultramarine or blue and burnt sienna. I think it's just faster to use raw umber for some darker areas on the hair. Here's the raw umber. Again, with the palette knife. Okay. Oh, hello, hello, Nicolia. Hello, Tina. Oh, that is saying you're not only artist but also magician. Magician. You turn a man into a woman without surgery. That was pretty funny. Okay. That's pretty funny. Okay. I prefer this for the darker values. In that way, it's sometimes I prefer just go slowly, darkening up the colors, slowly moving, you know. But in that way, having the black here, pure black, you already know where is your darker value. Like the way that we know where is the lighter one. The lighter one is white. Eh? If I just pick up pure white and I put it here, there's not gonna be nothing lighter than that one. Okay. It doesn't glow that much. Yeah? That's the highlight on the nose. Okay, now since it's brown, you can just blend it. You can use a little bit of burnt sienna here. Okay, you just pick up burnt sienna on your brush, and with paint you blend. Okay, sometimes for blending you need a clean brush, and sometimes you can just add some paint to the brush. Why? Because at the same time that you're blending, you want to change the color a little bit. Now we can add some contrast. For example, what if I just mix blue and white? Put it here. And since the hair is pretty light on this area, what if I just pick up pure black and I put it here? Why? Because it's gonna just create a lot of contrast. Yeah? What's the color here? It's kind of a yellowish. Now be careful, because if you touch a little bit of black, what color you're gonna have? A little bit of green. Okay. Now I'm trying. I don't know if you noticed that I'm trying to balance things out here. Dark, dark, light, light, different color. Yeah? But I'm trying just to create a balance there. Now, for the ones that love blending, you can just pick up a clean brush and stay there just doing this, blend it, blend, blend, clean the brush, okay? Just continue blending, paint more lights there, obviously. The danger of blending that much is you can just blend away the darker values, and remember the shadows are more important than the lights. You don't see light if there is not shadows. If you just paint just lighter colors everywhere, the face is gonna look flat. You gotta just embrace that really fast, because it takes a lot of time to control that. We are so afraid of the darker values, because obviously we think about darker values like just muddy colors, dirty colors. And that's true. That's exactly what they are. Okay, I think I'm gonna have a sharp edge here. Maybe at this point we forget about the planes. Try to keep, remember that's the purpose of today's exercise. Okay, understand that the value that you have here is different from the value in color that is here. Look at the upper photograph. Go back on the video when we painted that, when I painted that. It means that you can just knocking down the color. Imagine that you grade down this color, grade down the color, and you paint it here. It could be lighter, but grade down. Okay, no, I'm not saying that you're gonna just paint it gray. No, it could have the same value here, but it's a bit reddish. What happens with colors? Okay, warmer color is gonna pop. Okay, cool color or a gray down color is gonna recede. And that's what we want on this plane of the face, because we want the face just turn. Okay, at the same time, value. If we use value, the principal value, and color at the same time, we can just add a little bit of yellow. It's gonna make that highlight glow and pop forward, because it's not gonna be just about making this lighter and adding more saturation to this area. The same happens if we add more saturation to the nose. And the same is going to happen if I decide to add contrast. What's the contrast we always mention on every video? Who knows? Who knows? Put it in the comments. Who knows? Put it in the comments. You're gonna get into a ruffle. I'm gonna send you a ha. Hello, Monique. Yeah, that. I need to work on this eye. It looks kind of weird. Light there. Okay, the contrast is the simultaneous contrast. We use that a lot, and it works all the time. It's been working for years and continue working. Simultaneous contrast is when you add two opposite colors with the same saturation. You put them together, and that makes the colors vibrate in a different way, in a different frequency. Okay, squinting on my eyes. I think this side of the face is too dark. Let's see. Need to light up there. Another thing is the side of the nose. The nose is a bit wider, a lot wider here. Oops, just missed it for a lot. It means that I'm missing something more. The nose here. To push it there. Now pure black for the eye, pupil, the eyelashes, pure black here, pupil, eyelashes. Don't paint with this black all the way to the tear duct. I need raw umber. Oh no, I mean just with red. Let's put red here. And this and crimson. Oh, that's right, Nicolia. Yeah. Nicolia is saying creating contrast. Always ask yourself what is the facial point, the focal point. Yeah. And cool colors recede and warm colors back forward. Yeah. Hi, Tina. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I think the face needs more light, more yellow. Let's see. little bit of blue and alizarin crimson. A little bit of yellow here. Okay, there's more light on the hair. Still see something off on the eye. This area closer to the tear duct. It could be that I need to make it darker. I think it's about making this darker, that brightly. Yeah. I'm trying to soften the edge. I don't want a sharp edge on the iris. Okay, could be that. Hello, Dejan. Hello, Nasrin. Hello, Carol. Thank you. Hello, JJ. Sorry, I'm just painting. Just quiet it here. I've been speaking for an hour and a half. I don't want to speak no more. But if somebody has a question, yeah, shoot. Feel pretty happy to answer questions. Feel pretty happy and feel pretty happy to ignore them when I don't know the answer. A bit pinkier here. A bit pinkier here. Remember the planes, okay? Don't move with this one all the way down. There's another plane here. You can see a light here, okay? There's a mid-tone here. That was the other plane. You see the shadow here on the glabella area. See the upper photograph. Go back on the video. There was a darker plane there. Hello, Troll Tattoo. Hi. Oh, welcome. Okay, so if it's possible to change portion while progress, portion or proportion, do you mean the proportion? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But thing we need to keep measuring, okay? I have the image to my left, same size. In that way, I keep comparing. And it's easier when you have it the same size. And from time to time, I pimple my eyes really fast between photograph and painting. Remember, I keep doing that all the time. That's I think that's the best way I have to at least get closer to the likeness. And sometimes the likeness is, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But when I thinking about likeness, what I mostly do is just bounce my eyes, like that, really fast, really fast. And I usually I do that more when I paint a commission. And now that I'm painting here, that's not a commission, that's a practice the plane of the face. I want to get the likeness. Yeah, we want to get the likeness every time. But it's not something that, since it's not a commission, nobody's going to complain about the likeness. And it's important for me as a practice, but it's not like really important for anybody else. Just like, when it's a commission, it's different. Let's say that when it's not a commission, I'm a bit more relaxed about the likeness. I just I'm not saying that I'm not worried about getting the likeness. Yeah, always, always, always. If I don't get it, I don't get it. But that I keep thinking about that. Yeah, we all do that. Yeah, I think you know. Sometimes we start just with the idea of practicing without paying attention to the likeness. That's different. And that's when I want to practice, let's say, values. I want to practice ages, and I don't want to just think about the likeness while I'm just thinking about something else. And at the end, it's just one more painting. It's just like we have more paintings to practice different things, ages, likeness, okay, volume, color. I think I have done a little bit of each thing on my channel. It's just like from time to time we kind of move from different things. If somebody goes back on my channel, you're gonna see that for a few months I've been painting kind of colorful, paintings. It's just like I was looking for that new color harmonies, and then I go back to a more classical approach. And it's just that it's not like you have to do the same all the time, or you can do the same all the time. That really is just what you want to do. Nothing else is just what you want to do. That's the thing. Sometimes this thing about changing proportions uh, is just like sometimes you could let it dry, but if somebody's not afraid of oil paint at all, you can just make all the changes you want. And when it's wet, obviously, it's just easier to erase. You can just pick up paper towel and erase some portion and repaint it. Move the mouth down a lot or things like that. But I know by experience that it takes a little bit of time because we are just even that oil paint is pretty forgiving. We uh, we are the ones that are afraid of the oil paints, and when we got more experience, we know that we can just make more and more changes. We can even move one eye up or down, which it kind of looks kind of so difficult when we started to paint. It's not saying that it's not difficult, but when we got more experience, it's like we see that it's possible. We just say that, oh my God, how I make that mistake, but I'm gonna fix it. Something's not okay on this eye, and I don't know what it is. It could be a value, could be the eyebrow, maybe. Yeah, maybe I need to move the eyebrow, make it a little bit wider. And maybe the eyebrows are closer to each other a bit more. I'm using the same brush that I'm using for blending to add, let's say, thin layers of oil paint. Just thin layers, thin layers. Let's gonna do it again. Okay, just the tip of the brush, and you go just like that. You can just blend it or leave it there, you know, but it's just a thin layer. Squinting down my eyes on this side of the face. When I squint down my eyes, I see that it's lighter here. Yeah, lighter there. You see that's a little bit lighter here. Just you gotta remember that no light on the shadow or darker side of the face is as light as any light on the light side of the face. Did I say that right? It's a little bit reddish here. A coarse shadow here. A little bit softening there. Reflect the light on the nose here. Here. Coarse shadow here. Okay. Reflect the light here. That's another plane of the nose there. The darker shadow is just here. Okay. More light here on the cheekbone, the cheek. Okay, a little bit of light here next to the mouth. We know that if there is a bump on the left, there's gotta be a bump on the right. That's because of the muscles. Okay, reflect the light here, and there's gotta be a reflected light on the chin here. Reflect the light here. You know this light is bouncing from the bottom lip on the lower portion of the upper lip. something. I'm missing something on the eyes. Looks like it looks like my painting. She has the crossed eyes. I think maybe I should move this eye a little bit to the left, or the one to the right, or maybe just imagining this. I got the flu. Maybe I need to add some eyelashes. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move the light on the nose a little bit to the right. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this color. There, that's good. I'm gonna blend it. Okay. Just want to soften some edges here. Okay, now I'm gonna add some eyelashes. If the light is coming from the left, there's gonna be a reflected light on the right side of the iris. There. Oh, Mari is asking where we can find this planner head. Oh, you can just look for this kind of image on on Google. There's a lot of them. You can just find one songs with a lot of planes, another ones with more, less. Just plenty of images to practice with. I found this one on Pinterest. I'm gonna put it on the description box. I didn't do it. I just put it on my Patreon, but I'm gonna just do it after I finish the class. After I finish this demo. I was thinking about the class that we have in a couple of hours. We have a drawing class on Zoom. And you can join my Patreon. Remember, the link to my Patreon is there. The link to my website, which I did it myself. Yeah, don't go to my website. It's not good. It's not good enough yet. But that's the link. Need another brush for that. Clean the brush before you go back to the palette, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna pollute the mixture. Exactly what happened to me there. Light, clean the brush, pick up paint. Look what happens when I don't clean the brush. I ended up polluting the mixture here, my palette. If I do that on purpose, it's because I think the color is too dark and I want to change it. But if you don't do that on purpose, you're gonna pollute the mixture, and then you're gonna try to get back to paint, and that's gonna create that muddy color. Just clean it by adding more of the clean colors, pure colors. Clean the brush. Clean the brush. Sometimes I forget myself to clean the brush. It's kind of an automatic movement, you know. I do this and I go back here and I pollute the mixture. I gotta clean the brush. clean the brush. Okay, another little bit of light blue, pretty light blue. I'm gonna put it there. A lot of light blue. Put it there. There on the nose. Okay. And clean the brush. I'm gonna use green. I love this green half here. Oh, okay, I think I can mix this green here. A lot of white. Put the green on the lips. It's gonna glow if is the opposite color. Here, a little bit of green. Yeah, but I don't like it that much. I prefer this emerald green. It's pretty bright. It's pretty bright. Clean and bright. Okay. I think the hair here is too light if I compare with there. Yeah. A little bit of blue, a little bit of alizarin crimson. Okay, alizarin crimson here too. A little bit of this. Here too. Here in the shadow. I don't like the alizarin crimson here, but let's put more here. Just a bit. I'm pretty happy that I moved all the way from the plains to this portrait. That was a pretty good exercise. If you want to paint along with me, you can join my Patreon account We paint Saturdays for 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours we paint portraits. One portrait per week. Okay, I'm gonna just it's a little bit lighter here. A little bit lighter here. Okay, the upper eyelid. Yeah, a little bit darker here. My fan brush for blending. I'm gonna blend the edge. I'm gonna blend here. Touch of green here, a touch of green here, touch of more green just here. It's too bright. Again, green, green. Yeah, this green is too bright. I need to blend it. Okay, let's see. Okay, getting to the end. It's been 2 hours and it's been two hours. Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty happy. I should have spent 1 more hour. Yeah, but you know, just the same thing that happens that I don't know if I spend 1 more hour, I'm gonna make it better, or maybe I'm gonna ruin. Sometimes it's just because when I move, I know myself. When I move to put more time, I know that I'm gonna start chasing details here and there, and that's not good. You know, I wanna keep some softness with some detail, but more important, some softness. And you got tired after 2 hours, 3 hours, and you don't know if your painting is becoming cartoonish after adding more and more details. Okay. I know that I need some few things that, for example, I see a curve here. I'm gonna make it a little bit saturated. Yeah, a little bit of a curve there. A touch of red here, and below the eye, a little bit of light here. Oops, no. You know, this eye is kind of blurry. It was a bit sharper, but I did that on purpose. I wanna keep it soft. Okay, here too. I wanna. The thing is that that's gonna affect the likeness definitely, but you know, I prefer the softness. I think instead of the likeness. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. Eh? Yeah, I think that's it. As you all know, maybe I'm gonna just stay just a couple more minutes. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Colia, Tina, Sylvia, Janos. Hello, Ben. Thank you. Let's see for the last time here. I forget that I left the camera on Zoom. Okay, that's it. Yeah, no more. Yeah, what do you think? No more. Stop it! Okay, now that's it for sure. Okay, thank you so much, uh, everybody, for being here. It's been 2 hours. I hope you liked it, and I'm planning to do one more, a series of this with planes, not just portraits, maybe some still lifes. Let's see, okay? Let's see. Okay, bye everybody. See you all next time. Bye. Please press the like button before you go. You're free to go. I'm gonna be here just one more minute. Okay. Oh, thank you. Gracias, Astro Avatar. Okay. Thank you, Saji. Thank you, Nicolia.